back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mobafire Challenger Series. I am Rapid. With me is Burn. We got EGAD your feed running the production tonight, and do want to welcome you back to what could be one of the most anticipated, highly hyped matches of the entire MCS. It's going to be Denial Esports taking on to be determined in yet another rematch of their PAX qualifier series from this weekend. To be determined, winning that out 2-1 in some very close games, some of the best games of the entire tournament. And going in here tonight, these teams definitely know one another. They have a lot on the line. Denial Esports, the very strong, very capable lineup, looking to bring things back against TBD.
Yeah, TBD and TBD and Denial Esports. Let me recollect for a second. Such the competitors, they just juked it out for such a long time during those battles over at PAX. Unfortunately, we won't see Team Denial get through that one, but TBD did a very, very strong game plan for that game number 3. Although there were shoutouts to everything that would happen during that game, I'm not expecting anything of the least from both teams coming out. They're going to be showing up their all, and hopefully we'll see some very, very nice play coming out from both teams. We do see Lisa, Nidalee, Twisted Fate, Renekton, Vladimir, Caitlyn all banned out. Caitlyn being banned out for a second game in a row, that is a very interesting take, but you know, Robert X. Lee is a very, very strong Caitlyn player, and you know he'll get his way around with that one. So very, very good. Ban that one out. Other than that, very, targeted bans overall coming out from both teams.
Yeah, you cannot let Inox play Nidalee. That guy is absolutely a monster, and I think teams are finally starting to figure out you have to ban Nidalee versus Denial. Lee Sin banned out against Scuba Chris, the Vulcan sub there. Lee Sin monster, and I mean, you can ask just about any challenger player. They're just like, okay, Scuba Chris, he's kind of the best Lee Sin out there right now, so don't want to give that champion away. Twisted Fate, I mean, sure, it's a ban against Nubby Pooh Bear, but it actually has a pretty strong lineup of just AoE control mages at his disposal, known for being one of the only Zyra mid players left in North America, as well as pretty good Lissandra and Morgana as well. See if he decides to go with one of those, as is first pick right off the board. Westrice grabbing away Thresh.
Yeah, Westrice can unlock that one, and probably for Nidus, that's going to be a really, really good, support overall in general. I think Nidus has played Thresh 2 or 3 times during the MCS already. He's been very, very strong with the hooks, but also as well, since they know that, Nubby's probably going to be playing that Zyra, or Nubby's going to be playing something of an AoE control mage at mid, I would have liked to see Nidus remain actually pick up that Nami pick, because you have a lot of counter engage that you usually see from all the engagement that Denial has. So very interesting pick coming out from the Thresh, but overall a very, very strong pick as well.
Now, to be honest, I was really expecting an Elise pick coming out here from Scuba Chris. Really, that's kind of been his go-to jungler. If he can't get Elise in, just go straight for Elise. And actually not going to go for that one this time around is probably that it will be a jungle Jarvan. And the great versatility about grabbing that Zyra, at least for Denial, that a lot of other teams don't have, is that you can run that AP mid as well as support.
Yeah, and we'll see how that will happen. Probably could be seeing Gligarbu going to be able to pick up that Zyra, or Nubby going to be pulling out that Zyra over mid. So again, versatility is another name of the game that you can have be in that challenger tier level, and having Nubby having that experience of playing that Zyra mid, or having Gligarbu who did pick up Zyra as a support as well. It's a very, very strong thing for teams to have. Diversifying is another thing that everyone should be doing in League of Legends. So making sure that you have that not one-trick pony champion would be very, very good.
Now, last second switch over here to Heaven times Zach. You just saw that champion come up so monstrous for TBD over the course of the PAX LCS qualifiers. It's huge champion, not banned out. A lot of times you will see Zach banned out against Heaven Time, against TBD in a lot of their games, but given away here, and now Vayne getting picked up. Robert actually kind of the Vayne monster out there. It's like, hi, I'm Gosu, and just kind of looks at him and feels honored to play the same champion. It's really, really strong, not only on that on the player Robert X. Lee, but also you actually saw TBD run this very same pretty pretty much the same team composition versus Denial. So Denial's seen this before. They've scrimmed against them, played against them, and actually keep in mind, Denial, one of the only teams that actually has a winning record against TBD. They 2-0'd them in the Roccat King of the Hill, and then beat them in 2-0 in their EPS series as well. So here in MCS, it's just the best of ones. So you got to bring all your cards, put all your cookies in the jar, if that's a term. I don't know what I'm going here for, but TBD, either way, they're going to be locking in that Twitch, and it's Flappy Bearfish's Twitch. And already you can maybe start to see some beads of sweat growing on TBD's brow, because they know how strong Flappy Bearfish's Twitch was against them in those PAX qualifiers.
Yeah, Flappy Bearfish's Twitch was really, really good. And if you want to see the highlights from that, you definitely had to check that one out. Check out the whole series in general, but Flappy Bearfish, definitely a great Twitch player as well. You notice that Flappy and Otter and a lot of other AD carries have been going into that aggressive style of play. Twitch, Draven, Varus, one of those three things. Draven, not so common as much anymore, but Twitch being a very, very strong pick can be taken away for Flappy. And we have Glee going to be picking up the Fiddlesticks pick. So a really interesting combo. We're going to see either a Zyra Twitch over in bottom lane, or we're going to see a Fiddlesticks Twitch, which is another menacing bullying lane and a lot of DPS coming out from that. So either one is going to be very, very good for them. And for Denial, I'm liking their chances at bot.
You know, I'm liking their chances. That's cool and everything, but you're still looking for that top lane pick to come out for Inox. We've seen his Riven before, but to be honest, I mean, Riven, a champion that you don't really have a lot in competitive play nowadays, getting locked in Inox, bringing it back. Hopefully, you know, some residual Mega Zero effects from Complexity's last game coming over here, because when you look at the lineup here for To Be Determined, I mean, it's like there weren't any bans. This is a picture-perfect lineup for TBD. It's something that if you could give them the opportunity to run this and only this team comp, they just take it every time.
Yeah, I mean, Arthlon has been a great Gragas player. Westrice coming in with Shen has had some amazing saves, but also a very strong split pusher and also a savior to the team. So a very, very standard team comp for TBD. And I'm liking what's coming out from them. Denali Esports, on the other hand, very standard to them, except for Inox picking up the Riven. I mean, Scuba Chris as well. I mean, he is a very supporty jungler player, so J4 works out in that way. Usually I see him with Elise, usually I see him with like other champions as well. But they're going to try to stretch out of the box just a little bit. Hopefully it'll come out with a good one for them. But overall, both teams are going to go be very, very hyped for this one.
All right, so we do have our champions locked in. Everybody on the ones that they're playing. No surprises here, just straight up picks across the board. Nubby Pooh Bear on his Zyra. Flappy Bearfish on Twitch. Some pretty monstrous team compositions already for both sides. Scuba Chris gonna be the initiator for Denial, gonna try to trap everybody, where not only you're gonna see a Fiddlesticks ult, but also a lot of AoE coming out here from this Denial Esports lineup, going up against what could be probably the strongest lineup I've seen from TBD in recent history. An almost picture-perfect rematch of their games from the Well Played Cup LCS PAX qualifiers this weekend. This is going to be, I don't know, one of the very best games of the entire season.
I would have to agree with this one, and it's going to be coming live in just a few. Again, we're going to be seeing some major action coming up. Flappy Bearfish going to try to hold that Twitchery again, do some Twitch mechanics, and just try to own up that Robert X lead lane, or will Rob show up his vein mechanics as well and try to win out this one for what he has a little bit of redemption coming back for that. So we'll see what'll come up for this game coming up to be determined versus Now Esports, about to come up really soon.
All right, so don't go anywhere, because when we come back, like I said, TBD versus Denial, we're going to be hitting a quick commercial break. And I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors. It is iBuyPower, Razor Academy, and Fatality Gaming Gear. And if you guys want to join them in supporting MCS, you can head over to mcsesports.com/tips. Leave us a little bit of a donation for both the stream and Wizcasters as well. So like I said, we'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. MCS continues after a short break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mobafire Challenger Series. I am Rapid. With me is Bird. We're going to be taking you through one of the most excited, most hyped matchups in the entire MCS. It's going to be to be determined taking on Denial Esports. And what better way to start things off than with a pause? Because once the action starts, I don't really think we're going to be having too many more of these.
Oh, I definitely hope so. I mean, I've been seeing some problems with both teams with connection issues sometimes. Not gonna say, who personally, but overall, it might be just the usual coming out from both teams. Just a little bit of pause action, but then again, what would it be like without a competitive pause?
All right, yeah, you're gonna start things off on a completely even footing. You can see that it's not actually as even as you would expect, because already a little bit faster there, Flappy Bearfish having picked up his Doran's Blade. But if you want to look at the team compositions, we talked about them before the game. Monster lineups across the board. Great team fight in AoE from Denial, but a picture-perfect champion draft for TBD. And when you talk about getting into the game, I mean, we have seen TBD run a lot of different lineups. The 2v1's mid, like we saw from Complexity, actually something that TBD really sort of founded in the NA Challenger scene. They ran that. That was their default strategy. So we do actually have everybody ready back to get into the game. So we're going to go ahead, get things unpaused in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and going to get back out onto the Rift. So if you guys just now joined us, welcome to MCS. 2 more weeks until playoffs, so every single game counts. And TBD right up there at the top of the standings, undefeated, going into this confrontation against Denial, looking to maintain their undefeated record against a team that is actually positive against them over the course of all the games that they've played in competitive scene.
Yeah, we'll see if TBD will fall from this one and come off the undefeated pedestal. But again, level 1, we'll start off a little bit aggressive. TBD just farming up, getting the same ward for ward battle over at that mid lane brush. And we're going to be very defensive now. Looking at the side of Denial Esports, they're very defensive as well. Level 1 engagement though, TBD should have it. They have Heaven Time, they could start that off. And then Nidus with a Death Sentence on top of that. They can lock down one carry or one person overall, but we'll see if this will actually happen.
All right, Death Sentence comes out, actually lands onto Scuba Chris, not where you want to be. That is going to not result in too much aggression coming out there, but the flash still burned there. Scuba Chris getting, taking a ride on the wild side, going to be able to get out alive, go back to base. We'll be starting off with probably a blue buff, I'd guess. You can see the ward placed very deep in the jungle at the red. Coming out for TBD means that they're going to know exactly where the jungle starts, and then based on that, if we do see a red start, it could actually give them the lane matchups that they want right off the bat. Look for a red buff start for Heaven Time as well.
Yeah, Heaven Time going to start that one up while we do CJ4 going to be starting out over at the blue buff. We did have that ward out especially in case Scuba Chris wants to go rush right into that red buff. So Heaven Time going to start this one up, try to get a big leash, maybe go for this invade over at that red buff take. But we have a lane swap for a lane swap again. Supernovas is coming active and live with both bot lanes being at top.
All right, so a little bit of a switch up. Traditionally, you would switch things up for a 2v1 and look for an early turret. Right now, it's going to be even across the board. As both junglers, or at least you saw Heaven Time, started his red, moved to his blue, and we have top lane here before you know it. And actually could start to get the action started out, but there is an early ward placed down. Glebe Glarbu going to start things off, throws down the crows, and keep the harass on to Nidus or Man. So be taking a look onto that top lane. Both junglers heading their way up there, but keep in mind, Scuba Chris on a ward. May actually be a little bit scouted out there. Nubby Poohbeard forced the flash away. Damage coming in from Arthlon, a little bit too much to handle right now.
Arthlon got level 2 a little bit earlier, body slam, try to get some more engagement. Nubby gonna have to burn out flash early. That's a very strong take for the team of TBD, as well as the top lane getting pushed up for Denial right now. I mean, Twitch is a very good lane bully. Vayne, not the strongest of early game carries coming up. So, I mean, those are the things we're going to have to look out for, especially at top lane. We're going to see what Vayne can really do.
At 26 AP on Glebe Glarbu. That's definitely going to be a little bit rough to deal with early on in lane. And Nox, though, we haven't talked about the rest of the lanes. So we talked about mid, top, bottom lane. Nox having some problems here. Westrice definitely getting the damage done, even defensively. It was that Doran's shield, but you can see Heaven Time coming up towards the top lane, walks right through a ward. Have to back on out immediately. Scuba Chris heading on up towards top lane, was spotted out by the ward. You can see ping is coming down from TBD, so everybody knows exactly where he is. Heaven Time actually stick around here, but just heading away. Nothing too exciting happened just yet.
It's a really interesting matchup when we say about the top lane being bot, but Westrice going to be picking up Doran's shield against a very aggressive laner, Riven, with that Doran's blade. And now Riven coming back into play, going to be getting that ward, going to be able to source out any possible gains with Heaven Time, but Heaven Time with Zac, I mean, he can come out from anywhere from that elastic slingshot, so that's kind of, well, null and void per se, but we'll see what Riven can do. Overall, 19-13 on the CS score, very early for that for both laners. I still think Westrice should be able to come out ahead at the end, but if Inox gets the early lead, it's going to be very dangerous.
Very aggressive trades by Westrice, choking Inox down to half HP with nothing but a Doran's shield, which goes to show sometimes the best defense is the best offense is a good defense. Scuba Chris there waiting for the Shadow Dash to come out here. Continued aggression, but so much minion damage coming out. He's attacking into 2 waves of minions and a cannon creep. Not really going to be all that viable. You can tell Inox is baiting this, so Heaven Time right there on par. To the bottom lane, and Nox gonna be under his turret before he knows it. The defense still available. Scuba Chris waiting in the bushes, looking to get the counter gank on Heaven Time. Look to get in here on this, but not making a move just yet. Shadow Dash actually misses, and Nox dodging it out. There's the knock up. The ignite goes down. Nox taking a lot of damage, but the damage right back onto Westrice. Have a little bit of an easier time sustaining through that, but now it's Heaven Time searching for the counter gank. Jumps on in there, last slingshot down onto it. Nox try to turn this around, but not actually able to get all that much damage done. Still harassing things back and forth, but a pretty big minion wave here for Nox. Does not want to lose out on that.
Yeah, and Nox is going to have to try to clean that one up before that all goes down. They need that all, and over top, Lee going to get caught in, but not going to be caught down from the turret. So very, very strong plays coming out from both teams. Denial taking a Season 1 take of, well, the odd one per se. Having Scuba Chris just sit in that bush for about 2 to 3 minutes. That was a long counter gank right there.
Yeah, it's the hotshot GG style of jungling, where you actually don't jungle, you just sit in a bush somewhere and really hope that the enemy jungler comes by. But as is, both junglers right where they need to be, and overall not a whole lot of early action. See Westrice finding out Scuba Chris and his jungler is just gonna say, hey, what's up? How you doing? Walking on by, not looking for a steal or anything. Could have smited away that blue wraith, but let's keep that away available for just a little bit longer. Going to this mid lane, setting things up, but probably not going to be all that much aggression. Arthalon just going in. Says, get out of my lane, fool. Scuba Chris back in the jungle, and Arthalon with a pretty commanding lead there in that middle lane.
Yeah, Arthalon not leading the CS per se, but just leading and bowling over Nubby. But Nubby gonna be able to get over to that Deadly Bloom rank 3 on his Q. He's gonna be able to clear out waves a lot easier, gonna be able to push up as well. We're just gonna see if Arthalon, once he hits that level 6, will he just blast down onto Nubby Poo there, or will Nubby get the better advantage, get the kill, hopefully win out? We'll see. In that trade-off, while we do see some trades over bot, Inox really low from that one, level 5 and level 6. One thing about a lane gank, if you actually stay in bush about 2 or 3 minutes, you're taking a lot of experience, especially from a solo laner. And we're seeing that right there over bot. Inox at level 5 still, Westrice still at level 6.
Apologies there for a little bit of minor miscommunication. We're actually at I'm not sure completely what happened, but we're back up and running. It's going to be no action missed. We do have both dual lanes still up in the top lane. Nothing too crazy happening there, but interesting to see Denial backs first. It's going to be a Bilgewater Cutlass for Twitch for his own Blade of the Ruined King, because I can promise you Robert actually will be rushing that at the same time. Junglers in the jungle, just not quite in their own. Looking for a red buff steal here from Scuba Chris. Does have that smite available. He's gonna go ahead and try to trade this off 1 for 1, but Heaven Time not going that deep. I think gonna pick up his own blue buff instead. So successful counter jungle Scuba Chris. Red buff in hand, looks towards a little bit of action down there in the bottom lane.
It looks like Inox and Westrice are going to have a little bit of dual situation, but they're going to counter out.
Oh, flash immediately from Westrice. Did not want anything to do with that. Ultimate comes out from Inox, so he was ready to go in, but a nice flash will avoid all that damage. Westrice safe for now, but no flash available. Ignite just coming off cooldown though.
Yep, and we're going to be still seeing these lanes played out pretty fastly.
Immediately, Ignite goes down. Counter Ignite, the flash away now from Inox. Westrice just going in there, does not care. Waits for the Shadow Dash cooldown, 5 more seconds. Can't quite chase on. Riven gets away, but still flash and Ignite burn for Inox, and just keeping those summoners even at bottom lane.
What's the most important take for that is that lane experience is going to come into play yet again. And Inox is going to get denied about that wave, but also that level experience. So very, very strong things coming out from Westrice as a solo laner. I mean, he's a pretty good duelist in his own right, but he's also taking advantage of that experience. So very cool seeing Westrice being aggressive with that Shen, where you usually see him very passive.
All right, mid lane, a lot of damage onto Arthalon. He's going to have to go back to base here in just a little bit. Does have Chalice of Harmony. So with theoretically infinite mana with Chalice and that blue buff, he's going to be able to spam his spells for that health regen. You'll see the Flagon Dragon, Scuba Chris. Middle lane not really able to get out too much from that. Arthalon pushed on out for now. This is going to be, he's really wants his mana. Blue Potion as well as Chalice, as well as blue buff. Teleport top lane though. Actually with his stand united on Nidus remain. Talk goes out, Westrice. We're going to get the damage done. It's first blood. Going on to Robert X Lee, play backwards, and the dragon from the dark passageway. Turn around for the fear and the crows to come out. Leave Glarbu narrowly getting away with his own life, but a very good play for first blood, right where you want it.
Very strong to get that ward in, making sure that that's the vision on to Flappy Bearfish, who used his stuff to try to get out there. We'll see if they can take the dragon take for denial, but overall a very smart play over there. Coming out from 2B determined, gonna be able to take out that top turret as well. So a trade for dragon and turret is gonna be okay, but the first blood going to Robert X Lee, that's gonna be a little bit dangerous coming up into this game.
And keep in mind, dragons respawn, but turrets do not. And that top lane turrets going down means that we could see a very early rotation here from TBD. You know, once you win out your lane, you just rotate down to another lane, maybe even go for 3-man push there in the mid. But I think the really big deal for right now is that the game is going to start to accelerate. You've seen global gold taken away for both teams. They're going to start to get those items that they need. You see getting things completed right now. Westrice almost with that Sunfire Cape. Blade of the Ruined King almost on both 80 carries. The only really big completed item that I'm seeing is that Athene's Unholy Grail is rushed right on out there for Arthalon. You don't need boots on Gragas when you have Body Slam on a 20% reduced cooldown.
Yeah, with Arthalon going to be able to pick up that Chalice of Harmony, he's not going to be able to, or he's going to be just pushing off and pushing often into that mid lane or bottom lane if he switches up to that. Also as well, Westrice coming in with that teleport coming up to that top lane. He's going to be solo lane pushing, and it's something of a usual take for TBD. I mean, they're more known for just being very aggressive in that mid game to their late game go, and usually you see that with Westrice and Arthalon picking up like an assassin. Like I've seen them lately with Elise, I've seen them lately with like Zed over top. But overall, it's pretty much just solo pushing all day for the team with to be determined. So Arthalon's showing that case, showing that cause with the Chalice of Harmony. We're gonna see that come into play with Sunfire Cape coming up for Shen as well.
All right, so overall, not all that much action, but the Flag Drag in. There's the flash, the damage to come out. The knock-up landing onto Arthalon. One more auto attack. It's Scuba Chris to pick up the kill. Nubby Pooh Bear, man, secret agent status flashing in from Fog of War. Able to throw down absolutely everything, getting that burst damage done, and Arthalon with really nowhere to go, getting taken out for the retaliation kill. Going over to Denial.
Also as well, great job by Scuba Chris just blocking the way to get out for that body slam, making sure that Arthalon couldn't get around with that. Some dueling over at top lane, but another bit of damage coming over at mid lane turret. Don't think that's going to be really too much, but this top lane duel might be coming down to a wire, and we're going to see everyone back off actually.
I mean, Nox has sustain in the form of health potions and Vamp Scepter, but he really needs a Brutalizer because this early Sunfire Cape rush, it's just so easy for Shen to build armor versus full ADs. And it's gonna have to, or full ADs like Ribbon, where you really don't have to worry about any kind of hybrid damage. So to watch out for that. Bottom lane, though, 3 wards in the bushes, 2 pinks as well, placed by Glebe Glarbu. Denial are not going to let that happen again. Meanwhile, top, Inox forced to use that's Broken Wings to get away from another Ignite all in from Westrice. Mind Stand United just about to come off a cooldown. Bottom lane, Inox, Flappy Bearfish though to go down. Westrice coming in for another perfect Stand United. Nidus Remand trying to get out of there. Death Sentence lands, but will wind up with at least 1 kill going down there. Flappy still alive, stealths away. Westrice still cannot quite pick up the kill. Flappy underneath the turret, throws down the slope with the damage to follow up. Taunt Arthalon with the kill.
Oh, Arthalon needed to stay with that one. Westrice was just out of range, could not get around for that one, and very, very strong take from TBD at that bottom lane. Although they lost Vayne, they kept up the damage onto Glebe, and we did see Flappy go down. So overall, they did have to trade off that mid turret. We're gonna see Riven push up over in the top lane as well. Hopefully they'll get some good damage on bottom lane, but overall, I think this is gonna still come up ahead for to be determined. Although if they lose the top turret as well, it might not be such a fruitful decision.
I mean, Inox may actually not be able to take down this top turret. You can see both Westrice and Heaven Time coming up there. Gonna get the Zac Elastic slingshots come in, which actually could be a little bit dangerous for Inox. He actually does get on the right side of the knockback. The damage to come off from Inox. He does have that ultimate. It could have actually killed Heaven Time right there, but he knew Westrice was coming in. Didn't want to turn around for that all-in. Shadow Dash. Oh, the Valor not long enough. And now it's going to be the damage onto Heaven Time. Throws down his passive to try to Blade Surge away, but it's actually the Vorpal Blade. Follows him throughout the entire combo to pick things up. So much damage when you stack on an almost, over 2,000 HP level 11 Shen. Could be enough. Meanwhile, Arthalon, Pink Ward, making him pretty invincible. The ward bait out from Nidus Remand. Arthalon just waiting there. The ward on top of Gragas. Glebe Glarbu, like, wait a second. That's not supposed to be there.
Oh, I mean, he showed up with a big belly and the ward was encompassed into that. Nicer Man said, no, let's just clear this one out and we'll clear out the wards yet again. Overall for that top of lane, just get very, very smart play coming out from Heaven Time. Just Elastic Slingshot in. He knew that he has his passive up and he hasn't been perturbed or shot down for that. So very cool to use that passive, making sure that he reanimated himself. And seeing that Westrice is coming in anyway, a very strong take.
Bottom lane, the Fear goes off. The Blade of the Ruined King goes down as well. Arthalon has the ultimate available, hits it on a Flappy Bearfish. Could be the Crow Storm coming out. Nidus gets blown apart. Nubby with a kill, actually. Arthalon trying to go back in here for this kill on Flappy Bearfish. Misses the body slam right into turret. Flappy getting a nice little juke down there. Turns things around. Kills now in favor of Denial Esports.
Yeah, that was a very interesting take. Scuba Chris walking into lane. Robert X League should be able to get out this kill. One more tumble and one more kill coming out for the 80s carry, but I don't know if that was the smartest idea from Scuba Chris. Inox and Westrice top lane trying to battle it out. Heaven Time in a little bit of trouble. Robert X League gonna be kicking down possibly.
The last auto attack from the plants, saving Private Robert, was not successful. Mission failure there. Heaven Time not able to get there in time, but I don't know. Nubby Pooh Bear pulled himself a little bit of his own version of Zyra's double lift, taking down Robert X Lee from across the wall. That will be also a turret for against to be determined. Taking down their bottom one to make it 3-1 in turns for Denial, kill lead and a gold lead as well. TBD off to a very strong early start, picking up first blood, but we're kind of struggling here as we hit the mid-game phase. Denial looking strong across the map, 3-2-1 on Flappy Bearfish now.
Yeah, we're looking at Denial. They have a really good control comp. You have the Zyra ultimate, you have Glebe with the Crow Storm as well. Just a very zoning out ultimate in this case as well, as Inox with damage, Flappy with damage. They're playing to their comp really well, and in the mid game, it was very important that they had this control. We'll see if TBD can, power it down, but we'll see if, Denial just keep going. That is the biggest thing for Denial. They had to keep on this train. TBD had to stop it. Hopefully they can.
Ultimate going off top lane, and Nox throws down the Blade of the Exile. Is it going to be enough to flash? The auto attack key strike coming in. Westrice able to get the 1v1 versus a Riven Sunfire Cape. And keep in mind, he's going to be going for a Blade of the Ruined King that builds for a Cullis. Pretty interesting as a second item. Gonna be getting in there for the kill, even things out at 6-6, and a nice 1v1 from Westrice.
Yeah, very great job from Westrice. I mean, he's been bullying it down onto Inox for the whole game, 13-11 on the level scores. But to see the Dragon go down to Denali Esports, but will Nidus get it cooked? And no, he won't, and everything will back away. But that top lane matchup pretty much is the case of worry for Denial. How are they going to deal with this Shen? He's going to be split pushing with the Pork that you were saying was being built by the Rune King, and with that Sunfire Cape. That's one thing. The other thing is, Vayne is just quietly going to get bigger. I mean, he has Pork up, he has this damage going down to Flappy, and Flappy is in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, he's going to try to throw out as much damage as he possibly can. The ultimate to come in from Glebe Glarbu. Cleanse immediately. Robert X. Lee going back in for the kill. Any help down here for Private Glebe. Making his way back to base, or back to turret. Not going to be chased on too long. Robert still pretty low. Does not want to run in anything like a Zyrus. Even Chris now come down to that bottom lane. But the, I guess a little bit of a 2v2 there. One in favor. Robert going to be strong there on the Vayne, going for some double attack speed items. That Blade as well as Phantom Dancer to come up off the back of that. But I mean, TBD, they have the strengths where they're used to having it, but a little bit lackluster. TBD's Arthalon having a little bit of a rough time, 1 and 2. We can see that 2-0 performance. Glebe forcing the body slam back out, put on some pressure mid. And we'll see Flappy Bearfish respawn and get back out onto the Rift.
As one thing they're taking advantage of, Heaven Time going to jump in. Glebe going to try to figure himself out, flash away. I don't know if it can be enough.
Oh, the damage right there onto Heaven Time. No knock-up, though. Glebe getting away alive once more. Flappy in here with the stealth. Reveal himself. Death Sentence does not land, but the attack speed slow and barrel damage comes out from Arthalon. Westrice going to get pulled to safety.
Yeah, and we're going to see a reset in the game at the moment. This mid lane fight could be very dangerous. Inox is stalking from the side, can try to get in some damage as well, even though he hasn't been, well, very, I guess, not useful, that's the word I was trying to say, but very helpful in the lane at the moment. He does have that last whisper. He has a lot of damage coming out from the Blade of Exile, so we'll see how that will come into fruition, or again, everything's just going to reset. Flappy going to go get a red buff, and Denial is just going to go back to just staying in lanes.
Kind of interesting to see things so passive, but after all of that early aggression, Denial TBD just backing out all on their own sides of the map, farming out the jungle back in their own lanes. The only difference is that there is that one turret advantage most pronounced in the mid lane for Denial. I mean, they do have that last middle turret up, and that is going to allow them a lot of pressure around their own jungle. Very safe defensive posture. Flappy going in onto Arthalon. Dark Passageway. Nidus a man getting out her man alive. Arthalon safe and sound, but a very strong push mid from Denial.
Yeah, everybody, you're going to be pushing in for Denial Esports over at that middle second turret. Nidus and Westrice are going to try to defend off of this one. Vayne still flip pushing. Heaven Time is ready to engage in, but this might be bad.
Oh my goodness, Nidus getting blown apart. The Heaven Time engaged Flappy. Not long for this world. Gragas Barrel does not hit. It will not be as effective. Glebe Glarbu ulting in, gonna get the fears off, but a little bit behind enemy lines. Gonna go down there to Westrice. He's on a rampage. It's gonna be a rampaging Vayne. Robert X. Lee and he on to Nubby Pooh Bear. He just kind of surrenders, gives up the ghost. Nice save there onto Arthalon. The Stand United passive not landing there by Nubby, and it's an ace. A 5-for-1 exchange in favor of to be determined.
Westrice coming out over there and making sure that he can save Arthalon. Arthalon came in, got a great barrel roll as well to clean up that kill at the end of everything. Just a very strong pick at the end. Also, Robert X. Lee coming in, just rotating, get some good kills off for him. It's a very dangerous game when TBD can have the conditions right for all the fighting, and TBD made sure that they got that, plus a Baron, plus a ace. Very good stuff coming up from TBD. Denial now going to be a little bit behind. We'll see how they will catch up.
They do get the Baron. It was a little bit rough there initially. Arthalon and Heaven Time both pretty low, able to heal up, and now with that Baron regen, just gonna be able to heal up all that much more. If you're Denial, you realize that you fought so hard to get the advantages that you had. 4-4 on Flappy Bearfish now. Wound up kind of not being that big a factor. Did not get his full spray and pray combo off. Just kind of got blown apart. You can see the overkill damage from Arthalon even. And really, Robert X. Lee completely uncontested, just able to DPS from the back. Phantom Dancer now complete, looking for a last whisper off the back of that fight. 5, 2, and 1. And really, the strength not from the AD, not from the AP, but from that top lane. Blade of the Ruin, King Sunfire Cave, getting it done. The God Rice in the house, 4-0. And 7 making plays for TBD.
Yeah, he is beasting it up and making sure that he can split push, but keep on the damage. We'll see this gate come into fruition. We'll see if 3 members of Denial can take this one down.
Can you actually kill Westrice? The answer is, well, there's a Cataclysm coming down, but Flappy can't get in range. 3 ults, and it's not enough. Inox, though, losing out the 1v1. Robert X. Lee, though, able to get the kill down there in the top lane. Flappy, the damage coming out. Arthalon gonna get blown apart. Westrice right on in there. Cannot be killed. So much damage. The Dark Passageway gets him out alive. Now Nubby in trouble. Leaves Larby with the Crow Storm over the wall, and it will finally be enough to take down Westrice, but at what cost? Leave Glarbu, Scuba Chris, Nubby Pooh Bear chasing in on to Heaven Time. Not all that bad an engagement. Heaven gonna get taken down there. Living up to his name, sent on to his somewhat eternal demise. Glebe Clarbu, Flappy Bearfish gonna be able to take him out. Glebe was trying for the KS. Flappy takes it away. Killing spree to turn things around now. 7 and 4. 3 kills in a row, all going the way of the Denial's Twitch. Flappy Bearfish gonna like what's coming his way.
Robert and we're gonna see Scuba Chris over top lane, but Robert gonna be able to take out the turret. And another 4v5 that was happening, but this time Robert was all the way at top lane instead of hunting close, and yeah, there was no way they would respond to that. Westrice still went in, tried to get onto Flappy Bearfish, but again, 4v5, not probably the 4v4, sorry, was not probably the best idea, especially with Flappy Bearfish pretty much protected throughout that fight. So really good take for Denial Esports. We do trade off with a dragon and a turret as well. But overall, just so many things happening for TBD. That was right when they took the Baron take. Now, a little bit questionable after, well, using Baron for pretty much just 1 tower.
Well, you got to keep in mind, I believe that was actually the 3rd dragon of the game for Denial. They've got the global gold, and you can even see they were a little bit behind earlier. They're down 1 turret right now, but still the gold difference only about 200 to 300. So a very, very even game. Both AD carries very, very strong. Both AP mid laners having a little bit of an interesting times game. Very even across the board. The big difference, though, like we mentioned earlier, is in that top lane. Westrice took an army and a half to take him down, and gets a 0-4 ribbon. Bloodthirster Last Whisper completed, so effective, yes, but not really where you want to be as that sort of all-in champion. You're really looking to get in on there. Most likely onto Robert X. Lee, but that 1v1 did not show that that potential was actually there for Inox.
Yeah, Inox has been behind the whole game. I mean, still levels behind Westrice. We're down 13 to 16 at the moment, I think. Is that right? Yeah. And we'll see what Inox can do later on, but they do not want to fight as a full 5v5 comp for Denial, and we'll see if they can catch on to Heaven Time right now.
Flappy going in, but the Elastic Slingshot able to get him out safe and sound for now. He's going to be able to escape with most of his life healed back on up because, hey, you know, he's Zach. Entire lineup here for TBD, all on the bottom side of the map. Shen not out split pushing, even though Stand United is available, and with a very strong tank to tank up this turret, and even the minion wave push in now. Denial is going to have their work cut out for them going into this defense. Turret, pretty high as far as HP is concerned. When you look at Robert X. Lee, it's going to be, especially with the Gragas damage, to back everybody on off that turret. TBD not overstaying their welcome, backing out from now. See if they decide to stay and go for this turret.
Yeah, we're probably seeing the rim back away. I mean, every time backed up, we see the Shen split pushing yet again, so we'll see that. And then Robert actually gonna get feared. I don't know if there's gonna be trouble, but bang.
Ultimate blowing Flappy apart. He flashes away from the box. We'll be able to make it out alive, at least for now. There's Ripple with a shutdown on Robert X. Lee, but Nox trades his life away at the same time. Glebe has to get on out of there. Westrice going in, not taking hardly any damage. Scuba Chris with the re-engage. Flappy coming back in. He's been able to lifesteal up his HP just a little bit, but Arthalon still looking for the damage. Coming out there onto Westrice. True damage poison is going to be effective at getting through things. Arthalon still looking for the kill onto Flappy Bearfish. Can't quite get things taken out. The expunge comes out. The Q with the E. damage comes out onto Scuba Chris. One more Dragon Strike to pick it up, and he will stab him in the back. Arthalon goes down for a 3-for-2 exchange denial, winning things right back away from To Be Determined.
That was a beautiful fear coming out from Glebe right there, getting onto Robert X. Lee. Robert X. Lee used up the cleanse a little bit late. Nidus tried to save him, but overall they could not protect Private Robert again. But overall, we'll see how the Denial will keep up with this. Now taking not a gold lead, not anything else, but at least a positional advantage for this next fight.
All right, now getting into what could be one of the last engagements of the game. We saw even with that Baron buff, TBD didn't really get all that much done for it. Still only a 1 turret disadvantage, and the kills starting to draw on a little bit more even every day. Twitch down there, bottom lane. Robert X. Lee coming around the corner, looking for the 1v1. Is he gonna go for the tumble in? Stealth not quite back available. Still 8 seconds left on that. Flappy a little bit overextended there. Robert not really wanting to engage. Scuba Chris pinking out the ward there at the blue buff, just to make things a little bit safer to farm up here in this bottom lane for Flappy Bearfish.
Yeah, Flappy and Robert both have to really make sure that their positioning is pretty key. If they do get caught out in the first level take, I mean, Glebe has a really good fear to make sure that it can single target. Nubby can go grasping roots as well onto Vayne. On the other hand, you have Arthalon can split up the team with that explosive cast. You can have Vayne as well try to start it up, but Heaven time with that last slingshot. So both teams have very, very good disengage and engage in. We'll see who will fire first. That's the biggest blow. If Denial fires first, they have to make sure they have some backup AoE CC to make sure that they can protect Flappy, because Flappy is the most important thing to Denial Esports. While on the other hand, TBD, you have Westrice, some strong items. You have Arthalon with some strong items as well. I mean, Vayne is a very important part of the team, but they can go without him just a little bit as well.
All right, so right now, I mean, Nox able to pick up a kill, but really not much off the back of that. No brutalizer either, so not really getting that cooldown reduction that you'd expect very early on from a Riven, facing somebody who's just going to be stacking up that armor. Westrice starting to go for that Randuin's Omen, not really building too much magic resistance, just those Merc Treads, really feeling the heat from guys like Flappy Bearfish and Inox. Denial, I mean, they have managed to come back after what looked like it could have been game over. That Baron, the ace before that, looking so good for TBD. Still, like I said, only 2 kill, 1 turret differential, and only about 500 gold separate these two teams. It does not get much more even than this.
Yeah, and both teams are playing a little bit slow because they're really, really worried about the next engagement. Like you said, it could be the last one, so both teams just trying to clear out some wards. We have Nidus with his oracles. Nubby probably gonna go back. Actually, Glebe got the oracles coming up as well, and so everyone wants to have an even footing. Although the even footing is a little bit off because we have one more turret coming up for TBD side. But overall, if To Be Determined can pick off at least one member, Nubby or Flappy, it should be okay. Westrice gonna duel out Inox. Will this be the fight?
Inox going in, forces the flash out from Westrice. Starting to feel the pressure. Inox continuing on with his build. The last Whisper, very effective, shredding away that armor, but no flash on Shen. Means no flash taunts, and really you can see that pressure put onto the bottom lane, though Denial immediately going for this huge 5-man push up the mid.
Yeah, they're going to be able to make sure that Westrice, now without this flash, could be taken down. Inox does have some dueling capabilities with that Bloodthirster and Last Whisper. Can he actually finish up the fight? That is the biggest question. Dragon going to be taken away for the team Denial. Again, we have that 4th Dragon coming in for them. But TBD, they're bringing in. They're going to see some pinks coming out in the jungle. Will they catch on to somebody, or will they actually take Baron?
I don't know, man. They're looking to go onto it. They have a pink ward in the pit. They know that Denial had that warded, so they're not really going to go for that clear just yet. Dragon, and keep in mind, 4th Dragon of the game for Denial. The control of that global objective really keeping them in for that's, in the global gold as well. Big deal is how they back TBD off of this Baron. And Oracle's on a Glebe Glarbu is just what the doctor ordered. Be able to throw down some extra ward coverage. TBD backing on off. Denial, very strong pressure. Don't want to go for this engage in a bad way, because the team that wins gets an inhibitor, gets Baron, whichever one they want. Just depends on how hard they win this next fight. both teams just kind of backing off for now. The split push available for Westrice as his Stand United is up. The rest of to be determined backing on out and continue to clear out this ward coverage around Baron. Really want to force this issue.
Yeah, we're going to have Westrice with the Stand United going to be up. They're going to try that. And we're going to have this Baron take going to start up. Everybody's going to be ready for this. Now we're going to try to engage onto this. They're going to clear out some of the wards. They're going to clear out everything. Heaven Time going to go down. They're going to start.
Shen ult on top, a little bit of ballista action. Flappy Bearfish completely out of the fight. No peel for Twitch. He's just getting sat on by both of the beefy tanks. Not in a good way. He's not going to be around for very long. A 1-for-0. Robert X Leonidas very low, but still able to be in the fight, still around, still alive, and not quite so. Flappy just got completely isolated. Great team fight there for TBD, as this Robert's going to be able to get back alive. Arthelon with the damage, Nubby with the kill. A little bit too overextended, and once again, Glebe Glarbu, man, with the catches, making it happen. Robert taking some damage. We'll have to get out of there. The flag and drag from Jarvan. Blade of the Ruin King used. Escaping with his life, but the pressure immense. TBD pushing on to what could be a middle turret off the back of a nice pick and some huge aggression.
Denial could be pushing over mid, or they're going to be able to take over this Baron as well. They have a lot of control. They could force this play. I don't think they're going to do anything though. Nubby had a great ultimate coming in, had that Stranglethorns going out and trying to catch on the Robert X Lee. Robert X Lee just barely escaped up a knockup, so it would have been a 1-for-1 trade of the ADCs, but overall very, very strong plays coming out from both teams, really trying to assassinate the backline from that one.
Now, Nubby's a full build. He's just glowing Radiant Aura, double elixirs on, as well as blue buff, Leandri's Void Staff for heavy magic penetration, as well as Rabadon's going to make his plants do a lot of extra damage at the same time. He's exactly where he wants to be. Arthelon, not quite at the same place, still has the damage, but not complete with his 6 items yet. No elixirs on either, and no blue buff as well. Bane, though, what is that damage? Flappy Bearfish, the stealth and the assassination. Flappy, one shot, like, I don't know, there's at least 3 shots. Robert X Lee taken out, and with no AD carry, Denial off the back of a huge pick from Flappy Bearfish go for what could be one of the biggest plays of this game.
They're going to start this Baron up, Nidus and everybody knowing that's happening. Arsenal going to throw some stuff. Here comes another engage.
Going in, there's going to be a Crow Storm right on top of Stranglethorns. Huge AoE control. Arthelon in the back, and go ahead and throw down some chunk damage, but it's going to be up to that Gragas to poke things in here onto the Baron. The Baron not stealing it away. A little bit close there, but Baron Nashor goes over to Denial, evening up the kill count as well. Scuba Chris gonna zone Arthelon out for now, and a huge push, the power play in favor of Denial. Robert up in 5 seconds, but off of a great pick, Baron buff goes to Denial Esports.
Yeah, Denial gonna be able to take over the second mid turret as well. Denial just doing a very, very strong play. Flappy out-dueling Robert at that moment. It was just one of the little things that couldn't have happened for either team. It was just a very, very strong thing that both ADCs just stood out, but unfortunately, Robert came out at the end of the one in the losing end. We're gonna have Denial grouping up. I don't think that's gonna accomplish too much of anything. They're gonna try to take over this bottom second turret. So that's 4 people already down there, and Flappy gonna go defend over on top.
I was gonna say, meanwhile, top lane, split push from Shen actually been really effective. You can see after having that Stand United blown in that last team fight, things really didn't go all that well for TBD. They wound up, blowing things up. The bait in the bush of death. What is that damage? I apologize. My vocal cords kind of went the same way of to be determined. The wombo combo, bush of death successful. Denial with the baits and a huge power play. Nubby Pooh Bear. I don't even know what to say. Inox rough game all day long, but able to get the damage. Nubby with the follow-up. The CC, the AoE blowing to be determined apart.
To be determined took the gas pedal and just eased off just a little bit because he saw Flappy at top lane, and that might have just cost him again. No one really coming back up. Westrice still gonna be taking a little bit of talking to Flappy and everybody else, cleaning out the Nexus. Should be a good one coming out from Denial.
2 seconds left on Nidus, but that's going to be the death for Westrice. The Nexus explodes. What is this game? The Wombo combo to finish things off. Denial Esports taking down To Be Determined, giving them their first loss in MCS, taking away their undefeated status.
Congrats to Denial just winning that one out. Very, very great show. Coming out from both teams. Just one time TBD. Now that was just one time. It'll be okay. But overall, both teams showing their best for that one.
Yeah, no longer undefeated, To Be Determined, gonna go down. Denial Esports picking up a little bit of revenge. The vengeance coming in for their PAX qualifiers this weekend. So congratulations to them. It will be Denial Esports that in a little bit of an upset take down To Be Determined in our second game of the day here in MCS. But don't go anywhere. There's all these games and more coming your way. Third game of the night will be coming up next, so don't go anywhere. It's going to be Gold Gaming Los Angeles, one of the surprise up-and-coming teams currently sitting at 7th place, so just barely in the playoffs, looking to secure their spot. And if you're Aware Gaming, you want to get into that playoff range in the top 8 spots, so a lot on the line, but some great games and even better ones to come. So like I said, don't go anywhere. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. But do want to go ahead, throw out a little bit of a shout out to our sponsors, iBuyPower, Razor Academy, and Fatality Game and Gear, making games like this all possible for you guys here tonight. If you want to help out the rest of the people who make it all possible, head over to mcsesports.com/tips and throw a little bit of a donation our way towards the production, towards the casters. It's all there on mcsesports.com. Like I said, thanks for watching. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the third game of the night here as the Mobafire Champion Challenger Series continues. Don't go anywhere.
Because of you, even though I was with you, and we just said goodnight, cheeks are burning red for you, heart is beating fast for you, at last, at last. Oh, it is my first kiss due, kiss with you, I will give you all my love. Why is it I feel this sweet and tender? Oh, I don't know why. It is my first kiss due, kiss with you. I will give you all my love. Yes, I know it's strange for a man